Are we all set? Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us for this important announcement about partnerships, how we're going to increase the peace in our community. Flint has made meaningful progress in reducing violent crime, but in recent instances of shootings in our community demands immediate action and our attention. This is not a simple police issue. This is a community safety issue, and it requires every part of our public safety system working together. Now, Nelson Mandela had a quote. His quote says, safety and security does not just happen. They are a result of collective consensus and investments. The agencies and people you see behind me are making those investments in our public safety issues that we're facing across the state of Michigan and also in the city of Flint. Giffords Law Center has reported homicides have been the #1 leading cause of death for Black men between the ages of 15 and 44 for more than 50 years. This is something should ever be accepted as normal. Society has to push back against this standard. The report also shows in 2024, more Black men between the ages of 15 and 24 have died from homicide and gun violence than accidents, suicide, heart attacks, diseases, and cancers, and a long list of other things combined. Behind every number, there's a person. A young person who does not come home. A mother or father that receives a phone call that changes their lives forever. A child who grows up without a parent, brother, sister, or friend. So when we talk about gun violence in our community, it's not something that we just can talk about as a statistic. We're talking about people's lives. I definitely want to recognize a family here, the Hurley family and the Williams family here. Young Messiah Williams lost his life to the cowardly acts of individuals that pulled up in the drive-by shooting. We're working with our state legislators to be able to produce laws that will help push back against those cowardly acts. We are reaching out to prosecutors, judges, educators, church leaders to come together to work on a solution that we can do it together. We are also working with our federal partners and our state partners, the ATF, to address illegal guns and the modification of firearms. The displays you see to our right and left, and also at the table here, you see that some of these firearms have been modified, making these weapons from regular standard weapons into weapons of mass destruction. These have been done with this so-called thing called a switch. This switch takes a semi-automatic weapon and changes it into a fully automatic weapon, causing harm and devastation in our community. When we identify these weapons and identify the people who are illegally in possession of these weapons, we need to do everything in law enforcement, everything that we can to get these people and these weapons off the streets. This is a part of a solution-oriented task force. Law enforcement cannot resolve these issues by themselves, not without the help of the community. Somebody knows who's pulling the trigger. Somebody knows where these people are. Somebody knows where these guns come from. And that's why we're here collectively today working with our partners with Crime Stoppers. So we all can play a part in resolving the issues that we face here in this community and other communities across our country. We are providing rewards up to $500 for tips. We definitely want to get these things off of our streets. As I said, collectively we are doing good work, but we can do better, and it's going to require all of us. We can't just preach on a problem. We have to activate on a solution. Bringing these individuals that's standing with me, from our federal ATF, from our state police and our command posts, from our own law department and our police department, from our faith-based organizations and educators. We stand here today giving an assignment to the public to be able to weigh in on these issues that we face. And we can do it. We can do it only by working together. Once again, I'll repeat, before I bring up some other speakers, the great words of Nelson Mandela. Safety and security does not just happen. They are a result of collective consensus and investments. The city of Flint has been making these investments under the great leadership of our Chief of Police, Terrence Green, our State Commander, Grady, that's standing with us here today, and all of his detail and the workers that's being placed here as assets to be able to increase public safety. The great work that Crime Stoppers and Judy Lopez is doing. The consensus work that myself and city council members are engaging in. The work from our own legal department, residents, families, and friends. We need your help. I now give it to our friend from Crime Stoppers to talk a little bit about how they're going to be engaging the public as they engage us to help resolve these issues. Judy Lopez.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you for everybody for being here today. So as the Mayor mentioned, there is a reward of actually for anyone, any tips that come in through Crime Stoppers that help lead to the arrest of anyone in possession of one of the guns with the switches on it. The terminology with the way that these guns are made. So very important information is that the information has to come through Crime Stoppers. And what we do at Crime Stoppers is we get that information to the law enforcement agency anonymously. So obviously, if somebody is not worried about anonymity or a cash reward, they can call the police department. But in order to be eligible for the cash reward, the information needs to come through Crime Stoppers. You can call 1-800-422-JAIL, go to p3tips.com or our website, crimestoppersofflint.com, or there's an app, a mobile app, which is P3 Tips app. And the other thing that's really great about the app and the website is you can upload video and photos anonymously. We don't track IP addresses. Our call center's in Canada. We do not have, the phone calls are not recorded. So all of that information is 100% anonymous. So we have a campaign at Crime Stoppers we started a couple of months ago called Grow Up. We want our kids to be able to grow up in our community. Retaliation steals everyone's future. And this initiative directly ties together with that because too many of our young children are being killed with these drive-by shootings, and hopefully this initiative will help with that. Thank you.
Standing here with us today is our police chief, Terrence Green, and also our state commander, Colonel Grady, is here as well, showing the level of commitment and partnerships that extend not throughout just the city of Flint, but also the state of Michigan. We thank them for the Secure Partnership Initiative, placing state troopers here to be able to help us resolve some of these issues. But it's not just about enforcement. We have our CVI dollars. We're working with our educators, making sure that we can engage students in school to help de-escalate crime before they become to a point of no return. We have those individuals here. We're going to continue to work on those processes and projects. But definitely I want to give it to our chief of police for doing those great things, leading our PAL program, making sure we have diversionary programs to be able to offset some of the growing issues. As the data says, for more than 50 years, between the ages of 15 and 44, this has been plaguing communities like Flint, gun violence. And we're working on a long-term, medium-term, and immediate programs to be able to resolve this. Our truancy program, curfew programs are engaged and we're activating them. Definitely we're doing the work that's necessary. And I want to give it to Chief Green for doing the fabulous work and making sure we can continue to push the level of crime down in our community.
Thank you, Mayor. As the Mayor stated, we experienced another uptick in violent crime in our community. But City of Flint Police Department and our partners, ATF, State Police, Sheriff's Department, University of Michigan, Flint, Department of Public Safety, we're not going to accept that. We're going to push even harder. We're going to get even more aggressive on the individuals, the drivers of this crime. We're going to target you. We're going to continue to target you hard through our initiatives, through all of our efforts to arrest you and put you in jail. And I want to add to that, individuals that are engaged in this type of activity, that commit these type of drive-by shootings and to occupy dwellings and vehicles, injuring innocent people that aren't the target of this violence. Anybody that harbors or assists these offenders of these violent acts of, we've been going after you also. We'll be prosecuting you for harboring, for assisting them in avoiding capture. We're going after you just as hard as we're going after those that commit the offense. We know a lot of these shootings are retaliatory in nature. Those homes that are targeted because you've committed some act and individuals have returned and retaliated against you in your home, causing stray bullets to enter innocent victims' homes. We'll be going after your house also as a public nuisance and public safety. We'll be attempting to padlock your home. If you're driving around in a vehicle that doesn't have a license plate, because we know individuals engaged in this type of activity use vehicles as transportation. They're not walking out up on foot. They're using some type of vehicle as transportation. If that vehicle is not in order, I'm instructing my officers to initiate a traffic stop and investigate why you don't have a license plate on your vehicle, or why are you operating a vehicle without a driver's license. We're coming after you hard. And I mean totally hard. No excuses, no exceptions. We're not going to tolerate it any longer. As long as you are out there committing these crimes, we're going to be out there just as aggressive and stubborn to get you off the streets to avoid this. The reason why I know a lot of these shootings are retaliatory, because we have a real-time crime center that is commanded by Sarah Combs, Sergeant Sarah Combs, and she's the subject matter expert in all this type of activity. She does a great job, and she's helped us solve a lot of these crimes and will continue so. So I would turn the mic over to Sergeant Combs.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you, Mayor. I just want to echo the beliefs of the mayor and the police chief. These shootings that are in our community have high violence, they're high retaliation rates. The modification of firearms that you see in this picture is the gold part on the back of the firearm. The high capacity magazines that you see in this picture are capable of holding upwards of 50 to 100 rounds. These are being shot into our homes. These are being shot into the neighbors' homes. And we know that the violence is not always targeting the individuals that the shooter wishes to target. This trauma bleeds into the community through the siblings, through the parents, through the teachers, through the neighbors, through the classrooms, into all of our kids, all of the youth, all of the neighborhood. So we just want to, again, echo the mayor's thoughts that we are going to be targeting the gangs. We're going to be targeting the perpetrators of the violent crime in order to resolve some of this violence that we see.
As you heard it from our chief, we will not be apologetic for the enforcement of against these individuals who committing these heinous acts, these cowardly acts in our community. We are standing hard on crime, but definitely we're putting a full wraparound service around these issues, trying to make sure that we can build strong citizens. I see Pastor Harris is here and Bishop Martin is here with our faith-based community. I have Dr. Javon Gill behind me talking about some of the medical issues that we may be looking at with some unstable mindsets in our community. We're working through all of these things to be able to have a better and stronger community, and we would definitely be prosecuting these individuals. We're going to be looking at partnerships with our prosecutor and also charging some of these crimes, because it is a federal offense to possess one of these switches in the commission of a felony. We will be asking our federal prosecutors to engage it heavily and prosecute these crimes, not only on the state level, but on the federal level. We want these people off our streets. As the chief said, we don't want you aiding and abetting, but we definitely want you on a partnership of creating a peaceful, united community. I'm going to also offer an opportunity to Colonel Grady, if you'd like to say anything, but he's our guest here. He's been a part of our landscape in law enforcement here. He's been a great partner from the state level, a great partner in helping us control and monitor our streets. Colonel Grady, would you like any words?
Real quick.
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor, for inviting us here today. As Chief Green, as the mayor has already indicated, the state police continue to be partners here in the city of Flint to ensure safety. And for those of you that are doing wrong, we're going to work with Chief Green, our federal partners, to get you off the street. There are different ways that you can handle the beefs or the issues that you have with other people. But utilizing weapons, as you see here today, to my left and right, is not the appropriate way to handle that. So I'm asking the city of Flint and the community members, like you have a lot more power than what you realize. It's okay to say for the youth that are in the community, call the Crime Stopper information, but know that we are watching. I want to give the officers, our federal law enforcement officers, and definitely our state troopers and our sergeants that are working out there, our investigators, all of the credit in the world, because it's a tough job and they continue to go out and do it every day. But we cannot solve the problems without having the partnerships to keep the community safe. Thank you.
Also, our assets from the ATF, our federal partner, is here. Come on up.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Chief. ATF's mission is to protect our communities from violent crime, and a big part of that is identifying people who are illegally possessing and using firearms to commit violence. Auto sears or switches are a serious concern for us. These devices turn firearms into machine guns, increasing the potential for violence and putting the public and law enforcement at greater risk. Our focus is not just getting these modified firearms off the street, it's identifying the violent offenders behind them and making sure they are held accountable. We appreciate the Mayor, Chief Green, and the Flint Police Department for their continued partnership. That cooperation strengthens our ability to do what ATF does every day, which is target violent offenders, disrupt illegal firearms activity, and keep dangerous weapons out of our communities. Thank you. Nathan Sutera, S-U-T-A-R-A.
Also joining us here today is our city council people, Leon Alameen, LaShawn Johnson, and President of the Council, Candace Mashat, because definitely when we make investments, it takes resources, and we appreciate the level of partnership that they have been supporting these initiatives on the pre, current, and post positions that we have in resolving these great issues that we are moving forward with. This level of coming together is unprecedented, and we're definitely working together. And I'll offer the microphone to our President, Candace Mashat.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Chief. We stand here today as members of the community who recognize the fact that every child from Court Street to Flushing Road to Ballinger to Pearson Road to Clio to wherever they may lay their heads in the city of Flint should do so safely. They should do so without fear that someone is coming, someone will harm them, or they will not wake up tomorrow. While I do appreciate and echo the sentiments of the fact that we need to be tougher on crime in Flint, I am also very happy and thankful for Sheba Ward, who is the Director of Office of Health and Strategies. Because one thing that we do know is while we do have people in our community, as does any other community, where they are violent and they only seek to be violent and that is it, we also know that we have members of our community who suffer from mental health concerns, who suffer from emotional distress, who have not been given the tools to handle conflict properly, which is why last night during council, I initiated a discussion about how council can do our part, not only as council members, but as residents who have the power of the purse and who have a relationship with Mayor Neeley, who stand ready to help support those organizations who are doing boots on the ground work. I mean, actually in the community, talking to those who are committing these crimes, those who have been victims of these crimes, both the youth and the adult offenders, or those who may possibly offend. What we want to do as a council, working with the mayor, working with the police chief, is make sure that we are directing resources as they need to be directed, partnering with those we need to partner with. What you see before you are council members who also have other colleagues who stand at the ready to do what we can do to make sure we're supporting our community, not only with having a press conference or standing here, but also with the dollars and where they need to go and using our influence to make sure that we are helping to make Flint a safer place for every single neighborhood, every single child, every single parent, every single grandparent, anyone who may be within the city boundaries. They deserve safety, and we're here to help.
This is real what we're doing, and that's why we're petitioning you, the residents, and also of every like-minded thinker in our community. Pastor Harris is here from the Concerned Pastors. Bishop Martin is here as well. They have folded in to be able to say that we love much more than we hate. We love our community, and we have to show it. Also, as President Machad has said, we are doing a full wraparound approach to this. I'm going to bring Sheba Ward up to the microphone, also Dr. Gill up here to talk about some of the issues that we're dealing with mental health and mental health issues. The city of Flint has done things that has been unprecedented, but definitely this is the laboratory that other communities across the state and across the nation are following. The city of Flint is the only community that has a daytime curfew. The curfew is going into effect as school restarts. Kids are not allowed to be in public places between the hours of 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. on school days unless they're with a parent or a guardian. You cannot educate a community if they're not in the classroom. We have a nighttime curfew. Through Chief Green's leadership, we have our recreation center where kids are collected that's in violation of the curfew, taken to the rec center to be turned over, and then also to be then turned back over to their parent. If a citation is necessary for the parent, we will give that citation, but we need good parenting that's also a part of the recipe for success. Sheba.
Good morning. On behalf of myself and Dr. Gill, we are here because in the community, when we look at the crimes taking place, this is a public health issue as well. Because what affects you and your community, your level of safety, will affect your health outcomes. We understand there are mental illnesses that residents experience, that you need connection to those resources, or maybe you don't know what to do. We have personally seen residents coming in, grandparents coming in on the receiving end of bullets coming through their homes, and we're trying to navigate and help them find a safe place to move to, knowing it's a retaliation from a grandchild that was involved in something. So as everyone has already said, and I echo it, please say something. You can reach out to my department directly. We will provide whatever level of support possible. Even if you don't feel comfortable calling Crime Stoppers or calling the police, you can call my department. We will get the information passed along, as well as help connect you to the mental health services you may need. If you are on substance, we can help with that as well. If you're in an environment or a home and you want to move, we can help navigate that for you as well. There is always something that leads to the actions, to the retaliation, and it's our job to help mitigate that. You can reach me at 810-410-2020. That will direct you to the information desk. They will get a hold of me. We are here to help and support with Dr. Gill here. That is why we have this new division in the city of Flint, because we know that there are many more things taking place. We want residents to feel comfortable speaking up so that we can be Flint strong and have a healthy community.
This is a real plan of action. This is not a political football. But this is real action and real engagement. We will be engaging those who are committing heinous crimes. We're coming for you. All of us are coming for you. Our families deserve to have a safe community. And so with that, we're going to open up for questions, but also I want to highlight some of the things that's coming from our CVI PI program, that we are in public school systems, teaching de-escalation skills. This project is going on its 4th year. We've been engaging, not talking about it, not preaching on a problem, but we've been activating on a solution. So with that, we're going to open it up for questions. Phil, did I miss anything? So we're going to open up for questions, and definitely we want you to ask the questions about how we're going to engage this process with this full wraparound service in our community and how others can be a part of the solution. Steve.
changes in how it's doing its deployment in Flint and other cities. Given that we've seen the surge since that change was made, any thoughts of changing back to the way you were deploying or changing the way you're doing deployment now since the city apparently needs some laws?
Well, whatever we do or adjustments that we make are always scalable, right? If we see an uptick in crime, we can always change and put more resources there in that area. But just because we make changes where you don't see us in uniform doesn't mean that we're not there, right? We can there's other ways of solving crimes or trying to get ahead of it. And so that's why the Captain Marenko, Inspector Qureshi, each district is a little bit different throughout the state, each city. While there's some similarities, there's also some differences. So I put those responsibilities in the hands of the district commanders, like those standing behind me here, to make the decisions, to work with our local partners, to see the best way to utilize those resources. But this is the thing. The state police has a lot of resources. And Chief Green and the mayor, they're fully aware of that. If they need more, we'll find ways to provide them to them. We have aviation. We have drones. We've got undercovers. You know, there are many resources. If they need someone to help the sergeant with the real crime time, we have analysts that can assist. There are many other ways to being able to solve an issue or come up with solutions outside of just putting a patrol car out there. Because as been indicated, that's not the way to solve this. We can only do so much by making an arrest. And so when the mayor talks about wraparound services, when you've had others come up here and approach this mic and talk about other things that need to be done in the community, the approach is everybody working together. The partnership is what matters here, right? And it's true, what the mayor said, the parents have to step up. As a proud father myself, it's challenging raising kids. But everybody has a role and responsibility in this. And law enforcement is never the full answer for it. We have a part, but we cannot do it all. It takes a full, comprehensive community approach to have the impact that it needs here on this city and across the state of Michigan.
Yes.
So this one may be for Colin O'Brady as well as you. I just wondered, since you're asking for a stronger enforcement at a state level, if you give our different the city's asking for, and then also, I know you just gave some examples, but are there any specifics of what you may be looking at?
Yeah, I can take that question. What we're requesting is the stronger partnerships in these areas from our prosecutors, from our judges, all of those individuals. We're going to be coming together for a summit, talking about how we're going to engage this. Partnerships along the federal lines in which you just heard from the federal level for the ATF. Stronger partnerships that will help us keep these individuals off the streets. For these officers, it's not about just catch and release. We want to make sure they are held accountable, whether it be on a state level, on a federal level, but we would hold them accountable. As Chief Green has said, some of the biggest impediments that we may have, and this is why we're asking the public to participate, when the officers are responding to an issue or a crime, they have to be able to have help. People have to provide tips, that they can give those tips anonymously. But also when people are aiding and abetting those individuals to evade prosecution or accountability for the crime in which they did is also problematic. So with the laws, as the chief said, we're going to go after for them assisting after the fact or engaging, aiding and abetting, fleeing these individuals. Because as I said, somebody knows who they are. Somebody knows where these guns are. Somebody knows who did the shooting. We're giving you a vehicle and an incentive to be able to participate in making sure our community is safe. Call 1-800-422-JAIL. Give the anonymous tips to our detectives so we can go get them. Taking them off the streets, because next time, it could be your family member. It could be your friend. It could be your neighbor. So all of us from the faith community, education, business, law enforcement, judges, We all have a role to play. And what we're requesting today is a full wraparound service to engage all these ingredients and have the recipe for success as it relates to public safety in our community. Yes. Omer, yes.
Question for Chief Green. I know it was stated that citations will be given as necessary for juveniles found breaking curfews, but if they are, involved in violent activity while breaking that curfew, could their parents be investigated as well? Could there be harsher consequences in citation?
Well, yeah, well, the parents can be investigated for the curfew violations or the truancy violations. As far as if the juvenile has committed a violent act or a crime, they will be arrested solely on that. But in addition to the curfew violation, we're going to hold the parents accountable for did they know where their child was. If it's a repeat offender, as far as the curfew violation or the truancy violation, the parents would be targeted for that also. One instance doesn't reach that level, but multiple instances does.
Are there the same amount of police in each one?
Yes, well, we have the officers distributed according to wards. Also, our deployment is also data, based on data and evidence-based. So our deployment is basically depends on if we have a hot spot area that we need to pay closer attention to. So our resources are deployed according to the data. And it depends. It could be in any ward. It could be the first ward this month or this week. It could be the second ward the following week. It depends on the data. It depends on the evidence as far as our deployment. But yes, it depends.
Yes, we're going to let you do a question one-on-one with whoever you want to. But focal point, where we are, what we're doing. Switches. Captain Urquhart, what is the official name for this?
Auto sears, ma'am.
The auto sears, AKA known as switches. We're hunting for those. If you know anyone that has a gun that's been modified with a switch, $500. Any tips that leads to an arrest. We're hunting for these weapons of mass destruction. Everybody, let's get on board. Let's find these guns. Let's take these off the streets. Let's make our community safer. Let's do it. Thank you, guys. We okay for one-on-ones after this, but everybody has a role to play in here. Thank you, and God bless you guys. Is that good?